Speak No Evil has finally been released, and I gotta say, I knew it. I knew they were gonna change it. I knew that the American Hollywood system did not have it in them to keep that ending intact. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Speak No Evil is actually a remake from a movie that came out 2 years ago, and that movie was kind of popularized because it had such a bold ending. And needless to say, this American version takes the ending in a completely different direction. So yeah, one of the main reasons why I actually wanted to see this version is because I was very curious to see how they were going to handle the ending. I was like, there's no fucking way that the American version is going to be as, insane as the original one. And I was right. They completely have a different ending from the first, to the point where I don't even want to spoil the original ending because they are vastly different endings. And without spoiling what the original ending is, it is disturbing, it is uncomfortable, it is harrowing, it is not a happy ending. We'll just say that it is not a happy ending. And I'm sure a lot of fans are going to be upset that they changed the ending. And you know what? I'm kind of mixed. On one hand, it is kind of annoying that they took a different ending, a different approach, because one of the reasons why that original is so effective is because of that ending. But at the same time, as I was watching this version, I was kind of like, I'm glad they went with a different version because I really did not want to sit through another ending like that. Like, the first movie was enough. Like, watching that movie once was enough for me. Watching that ending was enough for me. And so as I was sitting there, in the theater watching this one, I was kind of like, I actually kind of hope they do a different ending because I really don't want to sit through this shit again. And not because it's bad, it's just because it's so like dark and it makes you feel gross. It does not, the original does not make you feel good by the time you're done watching it, and this movie took a different approach, and I actually kind of appreciated that, even though it is kind of annoying that they changed it. But at the same time, at least it's different. It's doing a different thing from the original, and I kind of applaud it because I didn't want to sit through another ending like that again. But being mad at the ending or not being mad at the ending is kind of irrelevant, because what I think the new movie does well is that it keeps the same themes and concepts that the original did. I'm a big horror buff. I love horror. Horror is one of my favorite genres. And out of all the horror movies that I've seen over the years, I think Speak No Evil, both versions, resonate with me the most because I think I can relate to the themes this movie is putting forth. While other horror movies deal with grief or potential or addiction, this movie has to do with politeness. And what this movie is bringing forth is this idea of like being too polite because, you want to avoid confrontation or you don't want to come off as being rude, and how far you can take that until it ultimately destroys you. And I can kind of relate to that, unfortunately. Like, I'm the kind of guy where it's like, someone cuts in line in front of me, I'm kind of just like, oh, whatever, maybe they're in a hurry, maybe they didn't see the line, it's okay. Whereas like other people be like, hey motherfucker, there's a line, get in the back. I'm just like, you step on my foot, I'm the one that says, oh, I'm sorry. Like, that's just who I am. And like, so watching a movie like this, I see a reflection of how I behave, and I'm just like, oh no, this is me. This is me. I'm the fucking idiot on screen. But to be fair, as I've watched both of these movies, there are moments when I'm watching it where I'm like, oh, no, there's no way. I would get in the car, get the fuck out of here. Like, there's no more being polite. Get the hell out of there. Like, so there are limits when I watch the movie. It's not like everything in the movie I'm like, oh, I can relate to that. That's what I would do. Because that's not necessarily the case. But the idea and the themes of politeness and trying to avoid conflict and not coming off as rude, that definitely is something that I resonate with. And I think that this version carries that over. Like, I think it does that very well. The original did that very well. That's what the original was about. Even though it's known for that bold, crazy ending, at the end of the day, the themes are still intact with this movie, and that was the most important. Change the ending all you want, it's fine, whatever, people can be mad about it. But at the end of the day, this American version kept the same themes, and for that, I applaud it. And this movie is a great vehicle for James McAvoy. I think he's wonderful here. It's so great to see him, shine again. I think it's been a while since I've seen him in a role like this. He's uncomfortable. He makes you uncomfortable. He's charming when he needs to be. I think this is a great performance from McAvoy. I think Mackenzie Davis is fantastic. Criminally underrated actress. She is wonderful in this movie. She turns into a badass later in the movie. And I thought she was wonderful. Scoot McNairy, I've always been kind of secret kind of fan of Scoot. I love seeing Scoot. He's always in smaller roles, and he's fine here. He plays the kind of like, timid, overly polite, I don't want to do anything kind of father. And yeah, I think he plays it really well. And what's so effective about both of these versions is that they're both really good at the slow burn. This movie is a slow burn. It takes its time. You actually don't even know, you don't have all the pieces till about an hour 30 in. And I think that could frustrate a lot of people. But for me, I was along for the ride. Even though I knew where it was going, even though I knew what was happening, I still think that like the movie does such a good job. Like you can't figure these people out. You don't know what they want. You don't know what's happening with the kid. Like there's so many mysteries, so many missing pieces. And then when it all fits into play and the movie turns into fucking Home Alone at the end, I think it transitions really well. I think it's a really solid thriller horror film. I think it's a fantastic time at the theater. It's just a pretty faithful adaptation aside from the ending. But at the end of the day, I dug Speak No Evil. A lot better than I thought it was going to be. Great performances, great thrills, great mystery. But yeah, what did you think of Speak No Evil? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Have you seen the original? Are you mad that they changed the ending? Are you happy they changed the ending? If you've seen the movie, let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments. And till the next time, I will see you on the next one.